Lesson number 3. The new work for lesson number 3 is simply that they're going to be using larger numbers in the problems, and the problems are going to have more x's. So you're going to use the same strategy that you did before. You're not going to be using any new strategies, but I'll go ahead and do number 4 as an example with you. You'll notice this one is 2x plus 3 plus 3x equals x plus 11. So this is 1x over on the right-hand side of the equal sign, and then 11. Now, when I set this up, I notice that I have a 2, a 3, and a 3 on the left-hand side of my equation. But only one of these is a number. This 3 does not have an x right behind it. So this is my number block. When I set the problem up, it would be a good idea, since I don't have an 11 number block, it would be a good idea to use two numbers that add up to 11. And since I have a 3 over here, it would be a good idea to use a 3 plus whatever the number is that equals 11, and that happens to be 8. So when I set my problem up, instead of using a 10 and a 1, I'm going to use a 3 and an 8. And I think you'll see why when I go to solve it. It will just be much simpler. So I need 2 x's, I need a 3 block, I need 3 x's on the left, and then an x and something that adds up to 11 on the right. So 2 x's, a 3 block, 3 more x's, I want to make sure you can see all those, an x. Now this is where I'm going to use the 3 and the 8 instead of using a 10 and a 1 or a 9 and a 2 or whatever it is. So you can see that my problem is much larger. I had to move my camera back a little bit. And I have number blocks on both sides. I have x's on both sides, and algebra is always easiest to solve if we can just have numbers on one side and x's on the other. So I'm going to start with the craisins. I'm going to start with my x values. I'm going to find the side that has the least number, which is this side, and I'm going to pull that 1 down, so I have to pull 1 down on the other side. The next thing I'm going to do, because it still looks a little difficult to solve, I've got 11 over here, I've got a 3, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there, is if I have the same number block, I can also slide number blocks down. Whatever I do on the left, I have to do on the right. So I can slide 1x down on each side, and I can slide 1 3 block down on each side. Now my problem is much easier to solve because I only have x values here, or craisins, and I only have an 8 there. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I ask myself, 4 times what equals 8? Well, I know that answer. That answer is 2. So this is lesson number 3, but I'm doing problem number 4. So my x value is 2. Now, in order to do the check, I have to move everything back up. The order that they're in doesn't matter. I could actually have this right in the middle if I wanted to. Just so long as I use the correct value for x. And I said x was 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Over here, I said these were each 2, so if I put that 8 plus 2, that's 10, and 10 plus 3 is 13. So 13 is equal to 13. That's all there is on lesson number 3. Lesson number 3 just simply has longer problems, bigger numbers, and down below you're starting to have fewer of the pictorial, the picture problems, and more of the regular problems as they're written in algebra.